I think too many national pundits look for a quick answer to everything. In much the same way that I don't think in 2010 suddenly Democrats had to fundamentally change everything either. I mean, the reason I'd say that nationally is, okay, so Mitt Romney lost. There are now 30 states in the country, 30 out of 50, that have Republican governors. The highest it's been in a dozen years. What I think it shows is that just like Wisconsin is, America is pretty evenly divided, and that it's not just about your ideological beliefs, it's about even things as simple as trust people have in the leaders they elect. And I don't mean this to be a slam on Mitt Romney, but I mean, I get what he's trying to say, but I think what he said, unfortunately, was somewhat revealing about how he thought about that scenario. My view of that would be simple. You need to say to the electorate that, if I was him, I'd say there's two different views of success in this election. My opponent, the president, some of his allies, view success as being measured by how many people are dependent on the government, particularly on unemployment benefits. I would have said, I, in contrast, measure success by just the opposite. I measure success by how many people are not dependent on the government, particularly not by how many people or fewer people are dependent on employment. Not because we want to kick them off in the streets, but rather because we want to empower people to control their own destiny through the private sector, which means more freedom and more prosperity for all of our people. I said in one of the shows a week or so after he said that, I said, the people I talk to in my state, even people who are dependent on the government today, people who are on unemployment benefits, they don't want to be. Their goal in life is not to live on unemployment. Their goal in life is to get a job, to live the American dream, to have a job, to have a career, to have a family, to own their own home. Those are the things that people strive for. In my view, for your question is, whichever party nationally in the future can put forward leaders who inspire people, who believe in the eternal optimism of the American people, and who inspire them to say, I get you, I'm going to look out for you, I'm someone who wants to act in your best interest, I want to help you live the American dream, I want you to have more freedom and more prosperity. That's the message I think that resonates, and I don't think, again, I'm not here to nitpick Mitt Romney, but I don't think he nor his campaign did a very effective job at communicating. I think their whole mindset, and I got into some arguments with him on this should just be a referendum on the president. It should just be about, are you better off today than you were 4 years ago? Because in their mind, the answer was no, and they win. What they didn't see coming, I believe, is that the president's campaign did a very effective job of saying, when you're asked, are you better off today than you were 4 years ago, said no, but we're heading the right direction, we're going to get better soon, and oh, by the way, our opponent's a guy who only cares out for rich people like himself, not like everyday people like you and I. And I think that's where they completely lost, and that's why I believe you can't have elections that are just referendums on your opponent. You've got to offer something better in connection to that. And so Romney's message was messed up. I think John McCain's wasn't a very good alternative 4 years ago, but I don't think that's necessarily a belief that there's something wrong with Republicans, because if that was the case, there wouldn't be 30 Republican chief executives as governors across the country. I think in each of those cases, many of which are in states like Wisconsin, Iowa, Ohio, Virginia, Nevada, North Carolina, Florida, Michigan, all of which are swing states, and yet Republicans are the governors there. Why? Because those governors had a positive message that wasn't just about how bad the other guys were. They laid out a course of action, and the voters in that state had enough trust in that particular candidate to say, he or she, that's the person I believe can get the job and move things forward. So the lesson learned, I think, for Republicans is 4 years from now, you can't, well, there won't be an incumbent, so it'd be pretty hard to run in a referendum election, but maybe if Hillary Clinton is, some people will try and do that, you got to offer something more. You got to offer a positive alternative, a vision. People want to follow leaders. They don't want to just follow somebody who's less bad than the other guy. They want to follow people who've got a plan to make their lives better, and they want to believe that the person that they're following actually cares about them and is going to make their life better.